He really tried to kind of knock us off balance a bit. I think he was very, very honest about what he felt about our music, our previous music, and he said, yes, you're good, but you can be a lot better, which, you know, is music to our ears, really.
That's nice. That note and that thing.
He brings in so many different types of music that you may never have heard of, or he makes it okay to try anything.
Why don't we all play as if we're from totally different bands? We've never heard of funk music, but we just happen to have been faced with this rhythm track. So you've only ever listened to AC/DC in your life, for example. And what about Will? You could have only heard the most abstract form of hip hop, where they use those very degraded sounds. Shall do.
I think it's a real credit to them that they're quite consciously saying, let's all go back to school in terms of making music. I mean, they don't have to. I'm sure they could carry on making and selling a lot of records, but they want to go further with the music they're doing.
If you were to walk into our studio in these weeks where we're working with Brian, you would be forgiven for kind of just walking straight back out again with your hands over your ears and thinking these people can't possibly be professional musicians.
There's a danger of repeating yourself musically, which I think becomes very boring to make and also very boring for people to listen to. So we always try and be as progressive as possible.
And that's what Brian has provided, an environment where no one is afraid to do something that at first listen sounds utterly ridiculous, and just kind of gently chisel away at it until until something half decent pops up.
There's one notable absentee from the studio, the singer.
I didn't ban Chris from the bakery. No, that wasn't the idea. Chris tends to come in with quite fully formed songs, and because he's supplied a lot of the music in them, it doesn't leave much space for other things to happen. So it means that the band doesn't really develop its full vocabulary. So we both arrived at the idea together, actually, to try me working just with the band to see what we could find without his very brilliant and dominating personality around.
I think secretly he's staging a coup and he's trying to edge me out under the guise of trying to improve our band. These are things I have to... This is a song called Wedding Bells, which I'm trying to get the verse for. It came out the other day. I'm on guitar. And it all came out at once because I like... Often if I hear a new chord, like I haven't heard, it just click something and then a melody comes out. So there was that chord in it. So then, I don't know why, but I was thinking about wedding bells. Those wedding bells are ringing up upon that hill. I don't want to swallow such a bitter pill. You keep moving, baby, I'll stay still. I always loved you and I always will. La 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 la. When everything that went before doesn't matter. La 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 la. I always loved you and I always will. That's how it came out. It's actually better on guitar, I think. But I'm still looking for that verse. A week later, the bad time.
As soon as we finished a record, you feel like there's nothing you can do to change it. And so with the next thing you do, you have to address those inadequacies. You think, well, I wish we'd made the songs a bit shorter, or I wish we'd done more fast songs, or you know, you always felt there's so much you could have done. You know, there's an entire universe of things you could have done. You always feel like it's not quite as good as you wanted it to be.
They're one of those bands that I think would feel if they put out a bad record, it's just such a waste. It's a waste of their time. It's a waste of everyone else's time. They've had a lot of difficult recording sessions down the years, I think, and that's because they are. It sounds incredibly pompous, but they're very conscientious, musicians, and I think this will be what propels them onwards.
To a certain extent, we're wary about being too self-congratulatory, because we don't ever want to appear complacent with what we've achieved and our work. So I think we always take bad criticism to heart.
About 3 years ago, we got really taken to pieces by the New York Times, which a lot of our friends were, a bit nervous about mentioning. But in fact, it turned out to be the most constructive. I read it and I was like, well, okay, I don't agree with that bit, but I do agree with that my lyrics aren't good enough, so I'm going to work a bit harder at that. Eventually it becomes quite useful.
Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to take, very hard. But it does force you into self-examination, which I think is definitely a positive thing.
Well, we're on Parliament Hill at the moment, and I do a lot of running here. It's a great place to come and, just get away from the, the concrete of the city, really. We spend so much time in cities. I don't think any of us get hugely sort of nostalgic about what we've done, because we've never really sort of taken our foot off the pedal. We're always kind of thinking about where we're going next or what we're going to be doing next, and I think there might come a time when we can sort of relax a bit and look back and enjoy what we've done over the years. But certainly, still to this very moment, all of us are really thinking about the next project.
We try and improve, but equally, every so often, we do have to remind ourselves and say, we're actually doing really well. And, every so often there's a release where we go, we have a very small kind of pat on the back, kind of, this is brilliant, I mean, every day we wake up knowing how lucky we are, but it drives us on to work harder.
We have very different personalities, but we do have the same kind of ambition and goals, and we're of the same mind when it comes to the band. Everything else we're completely different in, but when it comes to that, we're as one.
If I didn't have the band, I wouldn't have my kids, my house, my wife, anything. Everything in my life comes from it. That's what's terrifying. But also, I just feel very grateful for that. The man who is tired of London is tired of London. No, wait a minute. That's not right. The man who is tired of London is tired. No, the man... I'm not as good as Melvin on these quotes.
Well, next tonight, from porridge to rising damp, a brilliant comedy star and a life cut short by a heart attack aged just 31. He was the unforgettable Richard Beckinsale.